Welcome to the Show Your Mouth Lounge, episode number 248, featuring Addy
Hey, it's
and
just me.
Alex. No,
No, it's just me. I am alone.
no.
You're only
Oh,
a
shit.
narrator. Uh,
All right. So, Atty, you got anything coming out on your channel?
Not yet. Uh, things that I'm trying to do too many things at once, and it's been a problem for everything that I'm doing. Like, I think it was yesterday while I was going to sleep. I was like, let's actually try to tell you all of the shit I'm working on. Like, I'm making making one video that about fighting games that I'm working on. Technically, I'm working on two, but one script is not finished. I'm writing or I'm making notes for a review. I've actually started writing notes while playing a game. Shocking.
Amazing.
Then I'm working on a song. I re-downloaded FS Studio, and I'm trying to learn how to properly use it, and I'm getting closer to it now than I did last time. And this one might actually get recorded sometime. I don't know when, but you know.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, the best part of that song is that because I can only write when I'm depressed. I've been like writing like 4 bars at a time a day because that's the most I can get, and like they're not great, but you know, because I'm trying to force myself to write it good, or like you know, I'm like write it all, and then if you can write it all, write good. But sometimes both don't come together. But yeah, that then I'm technically writing another book. I've already written one, but like neither of them are for
Wait, where'd that
publication.
first one come from?
When I got kicked out of my first high school, the principal of my second high school, as I've said, is a literary creature, which also means that uh no, genuinely he was like he just
That makes him
suggested.
sound like a cryptid.
Yeah, I know. Like it's one of my favorite fuck ups I've had while recording. That's why I keep calling him that, because he doesn't deserve it. He's a very nice guy. It's just a very funny slip that I had once. But yeah, he's like an actual like renowned poet and stuff like that. So he was like, well, if you know how to write like essays good and stuff like that, and if you write videos in your free time, why don't you try writing a book to vent? And then I did that, and uh he wanted a copy to see how I write, because he works in that shit. He could publish it if he wanted to, pretty much. And
Yeah.
we basically agreed that to not publish it, but you know he said it's nice, and he's asked me to write a continuation. Like he basically he really wants to read my journal. Yeah, but really it's a thing of like I think what he intends with this is so that when I'm like 70, then I won't have to be like, what the fuck did I do when I was 20? I can just look at the thing, and then yeah, make it into a memoir if it's actually interesting. So that then the next one, then the other book that I may be working on is more complicated, because it's for uh boy, technically it's not the book I'm working on. It's, or how should I put this? Because it's a very dumb way to go about things, the way I'm thinking about. So the anime that I brought up like fucking 4 years ago. It was 3 or 4 years ago while we were playing Terraria, and I'm like I actually thought about doing this series and all, and then we discussed it on the forums further.
Yeah.
So while I haven't actually put pen to paper on and on like most things concerning that stuff, the thing is still forming in my head, and I want to get going with something relating to that, so it can be done on someday, And the problem with that is that I don't know which medium I want to tackle first, because if I'm doing multiple tiers, then I want it to assist in doing the next step. So it's a thing of like, well, I can't do animation good enough to actually like make the anime itself yet. Okay, then what's the next step? Well, I could make a comic, uh, and just use those as storyboards for the animation. But I don't know if I could actually like contribute, or I don't know if everything is written out well enough in my head to do a comic and have it make sense completely. So then, okay, I could write a book version of the story and then just use it as a script for the comic, so that then I can use the comic as storyboards for the animation. And like,
this is all the way above my level, man.
so basically, what I'm saying is that trying to do a project like that one alone is a very bad undertaking. You're not supposed to do that shit alone. You're supposed to have at least like 2 other people working on it, but I don't. And like the thing
But
is,
are you having fun though?
Yeah, sometimes. Like the reason I'm not like the reason I'm thinking about not going with the comic first, because technically I could do that and just try and make it work like a manga. Like as in, like I could be like, hey, this is my general idea when I'm starting to make it, and then just make shit up as I go to fill the time that needs to be filled, if there is time that needs to be filled. But because the thing is, like I genuinely have I have the entire script for a filler episode. That's technically only filler in that it focuses more on developing the characters more than it does getting them to the end goal. But at the same time, like I don't know if my art is up to par, and technically, like it could be it could be, or it would be, regardless of whether or not I wanted to practice in having a consistent kind of art style and all that. But then once again, it's a thing of like, well, if I write that in a book first, then I can go over it and be like, hey, is this dialogue bad? Can I change this dialogue to make it not bad? Do I have to change major movements of whatever's happening in this scene to make it make sense and make it so it's not awkward or not unrealistic too much or whatever? Because like, yes, I'm working on a fucking dumb anime where the basis of the idea is I want to make an anime that is made to be an AMV. I want to make something that makes you feel like you're watching an AMV, but still has an actual plot to it and stuff like that. But like, if I'm going through all of that trouble to actually make it exist, I want it to not suck completely,
Yeah.
And the big issue really here is that I'm a maximalist. I want everything to be perfect to the point, to the closest I can get to perfect as I can, and it's never enough. And that is why I don't make videos anymore, or really do anything. I have everything. I'm working on 6 things. I counted while I was listening to that. I'm working on 6 things that will probably never see the light of day. Just because I'm like, well, this part could be better. And then I try to go back, realize that I can't actually do better because either my equipment is not good enough, or I'm not good enough, and just be discouraged from actually continuing in anything. Just how life is usually how life usually is.
Well, I mean, if you're having fun and you're just the only one observing it, I mean, there's no reason to not just go ham with it.
I suppose so. The big thing that's keeping me from either of the books really is, well, for one, I would like to like writing a book and writing the script for reviews and stuff like that. It uses the same part of my brain. Obviously, it's writing an essay, but also, well, more or less, but whatever. But also, it's a thing of like, well, the book that's supposed to contribute to my memoir or whatever, that doesn't matter as much to me. And while my own original idea or whatever, my own thing interests me more, that shit would be fucking thick. I don't know if I can write that much. Like, I have the general idea mapped out for 3 seasons. That's 3 volumes of book. And not only that, technically I have it mapped out for 6 seasons, but 3 of them are not canon. Like, this shit is dumb. It is not a realistic undertaking. If I start now, maybe I'll be done when I'm like 50.
Well, I mean, it's still practice, though. It's still fun.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're having fun and improving at the same time, then you're doing better than most people are doing. Because most people's idea of having fun is getting high or drunk, and they're not really improving in any way. If you can have fun practicing a actually worthwhile skill, that's something to keep up doing, you know?
Yeah, I guess. So yeah, basically for my channel, let's see. There was a video I watched recently where I was like, this needs to be, well, okay, not needs to be YouTube pooped, but one of the things that how do I put this? The one way for me to be able to to tell if I have inspiration to make a video into a YTP or not is pretty much if I'm watching the video and I'm already thinking about the edits that could have been made had this video been originally been a YouTube poop, then it's probably a good guess that I'm inspired by the video to make one, you know. And that's happened with a video recently. Like I was watching a guy take apart a shoe, and some of the words that he used were just prime for cutting apart. It was I might do that. I don't know when. Like, I don't know if that would happen this week or not, because I have all of the 6 other things that I'm working on right now. but yeah, like I think for the time being, to ensure that I'm actually putting stuff out, I will probably focus on for one the video about fighting game stuff, or videos about fighting game stuff, because that's halfway done. And then also try to work on the review, because I want to make reviews again sometime. And also the music, because that one, like that's only 3 minutes. Like I only have to spend like fucking half a year to make 3 minutes, so that's gonna end sometime. that has a tangible end. And like the how much the work actually takes is more dependent on how much I suck at delivering the lines and stuff like that, and like my composition skills, which I have no idea how composition works, but you know, I'll get there. I mean, really the biggest problem with understanding composition for me is that usually when I watch videos where people would explain that sort of stuff, which they sometimes do, it's just like, okay, so you take the open third and then you move it down so it's the sixth, and like, okay, what do any of these words mean? Like, I understand. Okay, I understand some of the meanings of the words being said here, but it's not in the context that they're used in. You know?
Yeah. Like, for me, music theory is like so far beyond. I think I've said this before, but it's one of those things I think I was taught when I was a kid, and just it didn't register, I guess.
Yeah, because I was home. I don't know, because you were homeschooled too, so I don't know if I can blame it on that. That I never learned music theory. But yeah, like I never got out fucking, like I never got anything in music class, aside from that one time in my first high school when we had to audition for the choir, even though no one wanted to be in the choir. Like, the entire class had to audition for it. And yeah, that's I think that may be the only like music class that I've been in. That one. Where they were like, okay, so sing a song now. And I was like, okay, I guess. Like whatever I know about singing and stuff like that, I know from my mom, because my mom used to be a really good singer, and she still is, I think. And I can't tell, because the stuff that she has the voice for is stuff that I don't really listen to a lot, so it's I don't really have a point of comparison. But the people people that listen to her say that she sings fine. So you know, either way,
Yeah.
like she's taught me how to sing clean and all that stuff. But like when it was like, okay, so these are your basic building blocks of sounds, and you know, like scales and stuff like that. That's when I was completely lost. So it's this thing where I know how to sing clean, and then nothing else. I can't do screams. I can't do anything that's not singing clean. I can sing clean. I can hold a note maybe, but maybe not even that anymore because I haven't been. I like the last time I practiced singing was when I was like 7. So you know. I did enjoy fucking around with Fruity Loops. So music is probably something that I should spend more time on because it's fun.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where while I was making it out, I was like, me like I don't know if we ever actually do it, but to me it sounds fun to spend like I don't know an hour of us just fucking around with sounds on it and see if what comes out is actually like listenable. Now there's a caveat here where I'd want to do it when I understand Fruit Loops more, so I can help further make it sound good.
So hang on. Are you suggesting that, like, at some point we should get a few of us together and fucking crack open MIDI?
Yeah, and just fuck about with MIDI stuff.
Oh, that's scary. We
Like
have to find whatever one it was that Joel used, though.
oh that's General MIDI. You're thinking of General MIDI. Oh, that's the basic Microsoft Sound font.
Okay. The thing is, I know ahead of time that me and Pink would both make songs composed solely of owl hoots.
Oh no, I'm not saying that we all compose a song ourselves. I'm saying that we get together, we sit down, and then we're just like this would sound nice, like put that sound there or whatever, and then just
Oh, a legitimate artistic venture?
I don't know if I'd say a legitimate artistic venture. I'm saying that instead of expecting you to try and figure out Fruit Loops in an hour, you just be like put the funny sound there, and then I put the funny sound there. you know, like
I don't.
yeah. Like if you think it would be more fun to fuck around Fruit Loops while mostly blind as I walk you through the small bits as much as I can in voice, then I'm down for that too. But I figured it would be easier on y'all if I figure out how to use the software and then you just work through me pretty much.
Was Fruit Loops really that different from MIDI?
Uh, Fruit Loops uses MIDI, so
Oh.
yeah, but it can use MIDI like most things like that. Fruit Loops can use MIDI. Uh, MIDI is usually like what you would use with it because that's what those softwares usually do. I forget the actual proper name. It's not VODs because that's the Doom one, but it's very close.
Yeah.
But yeah. So basically, how Fruity Loops works is well, there's a couple of ways to make it work, but you can either just do piano shit on your keyboard, and that will make sounds. I'm not even joking. That's an actual feature. You can get an actual piano or something like that that controls MIDI and hook it up and just act like you're doing an instrument because you are, which works fine. Bless you. Or you can do it the easiest way for us, which is open up the piano roll, which just shows you a whole the whole thing that every sound that thing can make, and you just use your mouse to highlight when you want sounds to be played and tell it how long it should be played, and then the software just figures out, hey, if he said that he wants trombone at this moment, then trombone should be played at this moment for this long. And then the only thing that you gave it is I want a bean this long. Like it's a very like it sounds very complicated when I lay it out in a voice. It's very easy to fuck it up too, but like it's not that hard to grasp when you're actually like using it. But it's pretty like
Yeah.
they just call it like there's 3 different ways that you can do this, and they call it like one is called draw, one is called paint, the other I forget what the other one is. But like one of these settings is literally just drag your mouse and sounds will be made. So like if you want to draw a funny picture and then just submit that as a song, you can. It's an actual option in it. So
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, your channel, I guess.
Uh, expect more Total War videos. The last two I uploaded were bigger successes than I expected. One is up to 4,000 in a week. Or, well, no, actually, it's about 3,500, I think. And the other one, which is 16 minutes, over 10 minutes, which usually I would think would be really bad, has managed to get up to 2,000. So apparently, this is something I should keep doing.
Yeah. I mean, don't worry too much about the length because there's like it's a thing of like you need to figure out the length that your audience likes pretty much. So
Yeah.
like past that there's
Well, it
no real
depends on
yeah.
the video.
Well, yeah, that too. But it's a thing of like there are people who only want to watch 30-second videos. There are people who only want to watch 15-minute videos. There are people who only want to watch videos that are 8 hours long. We know one
Yeah.
person who only wants to watch videos that are 8 hours long.
Yeah.
So there's no real.
I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
the way I figure, like, video documentaries are, of course, best for an hour. LPs can be split up 10 minutes or an hour each, though I think when you get over the 2 hour mark, that's when people start to really tap out.
Yeah,
But what I'm
go ahead.
doing, which is just like, I guess, quick little tutorials and examples of what you can do with something, that's best under 10 minutes. Like, 15 minutes is about the longest, really.
I don't know, because it's a thing of like if you have more to say, then you shouldn't feel like you need to cut it, unless you feel like there's fat, But like I guess what I'm trying to say is don't try to let the runtime dictate whether or not something needs to be in a video. Let's what needs to be in a video dictate the runtime instead. Because if the thing needs to be there, then people will like that it's there.
Yeah.
Because like for this channel, I usually now cut videos to be 15 minutes long, but I could do something that I hated a lot growing up, where the editor literally just went to the 15-minute mark in the source file and just cut it there, and then cut it again at 30 and whatever. And that I hated that because that meant that someone would like raise a point or be in the middle of a sentence sometimes and get cut off, and you'd have to wait a week for the follow up or the second half of the sentence.
Ugh.
Yeah. So instead, what I do is I go to the 15-minute mark and make sure that there's no conversation happening. If a conversation is happening and it's not finished, then I wait until the conversation is finished, and that's the video. Because fuck having to wait a week to hear someone laughing at a shitty joke, Like there are edge cases when I cut off laughs or stuff like that too, but it's usually because immediately we transition into a different topic or whatever, and I don't want to leave in two topics if I can't help it, or if I can help it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't even really edit anymore nowadays for this channel, because whatever the cutting it in, they're not cutting out on many parts, made it so our content is worse quality in my opinion. At the same time, it means that there's more of it, so there's less the think of, oh no, we're running out of videos.
Heh.
Like I think there's parts that definitely could use cutting in some of the videos that we put out, because it's like, well, okay, so nothing's happening, they're not really speaking to each other, they're kind of speaking next to each other, and then the game is not really producing anything of interest, it's just the gameplay. Cool, I like this video. But at the same time, once again, it's a thing of like, for me, I have to consider, okay, so this is the type of content that I think would work best for this game. This is what y'all want, because this is not just my channel. I have to consider your wishes as well. I have to consider what do I think people would want out of this series or video or game, and then I have to be like, okay, so once all of those are fulfilled, how long is this? Like, how long does it take in the schedule for this to either run out or continue? Like, how much time does it give us to live life before we have to revisit the game or whatever, if we want to continue with that thing as a series? And like I know I'm saying all of this stuff I'm taking this like a job, like I don't know, but
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, I think if at some point the gun gets put to my head of like, you have to play Assassin's Creed again, it's like, I like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, but I think on principle I'm just going to say shoot me. Because who knows where that'll lead. Next time it's going to be like, you must return to Sonic Dream Collection. And it's like, no! No!
you have to redo the Rouge level 5 times. But only that. But yeah. But like I consider this sort of stuff because that's kind of like that. This is what YouTube has made me into. Pretty much is the best way I can put it. Like I've been conditioned to think this way by YouTube through the years.
So we're figuring out that YouTube traumatized you in this way, soon traumatized you in another way. Addy, is your entire life defined by trauma?
I mean, maybe considering the
Let's not answer that question.
Considering the biggest driving force in my life seems to be spite, maybe.
Oh, you got spite. Mike brings revenge. Ted brings being obsessed with being right. I don't know if there's a word for that. I'm finding that we all have the wrong motivations in life.
Yeah. I mean,
no, excuse me, not we all. You all. I'm better than you.
Yeah.
I am the best, and no one's gonna ever take me down.
But when you get knocked down, do you get back up again?
No, I crawl out of the ring and I slip under the ring apron. Then when they come to check the apron, that's when I reveal the gimmick and I bop them in the head and I go for a dirty pin.
Yeah.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
I think it says a lot that my school life, or whatever small amount of school life I had, is defined by spite. Like, I only finished my grade school.
I think that's kind of common.
Like I only finished the grade school that I did, just to spite the at the time principal, because she hated me. And because she hated me, I hated her in response because I was a kid. But still, like weirdly enough, it did actually make her like somewhat visibly angry when I graduated, and that was fun. I liked that. But that's probably also why I didn't do, or rather, I guess that's partially why once I got into a school that I didn't fucking hate, I lost my will to learn, or I guess I lost my will to go to school because there was no reason for me to prove myself anymore. Because my teachers were nice to me and my classmates left me alone, so whatever, who cares? And I still got A's. That's the weirdest part.
Ugh.
But yeah, anyway.
All right, and what's coming out on the group channel, Eddie?
Well, I can promise you more Spider-Man. I can promise you more Spider-Man for the next 3 months, probably.
All right.
Like it used to be that the Spider-Man would be the last video of this year, but then the schedule changed. And then let me check the others. I think we're out of multiverses, so there's nothing there anymore. I think we're out of Armello as well. We should still have Katamari this week, because last week was Assassin's Creed.
All right.
And then let's see what else. FGA. And I think that might be it. Like this is because we were out of all of those things that we recorded like 5 months ago. we can't upload every day now. Oh no.
Whatever will we do?
Yeah. I mean, like we joke about that, but the algorithms seem to actually push us more than that we were uploading every day.
just automatically upload a video. Any day where we don't have anything, just upload a video of just what's the dumbest thing we could re-upload on empty days.
That gif of Sonic and Mario kissing. I don't know.
Yeah. I was thinking like one of us just starts like patting our bellies and going.
Yeah. I mean, if I had more time and will to edit these days, then I'd consider putting up like best ofs of whatever, because that's how I've seen other channels save time when they didn't have stuff coming out. But like, I don't feel like going through all of our backlog of videos and just being like, best of Eddie's a fucking asshole, and then it's all it's all videos from 2018.
I know I say this all the time, but how about we just let absences be absences?
Well, I'm making a joke.
Uh,
I didn't think you think I actually like, or I don't know, I actually like whatever fuck words that I was thinking. Oh yeah, we need like separate compilation of all three of us being assholes. We need a separate compilation of all three of us being nice. Like,
eh.
just do a supercut of every time I was horny on the channel, you know.
Oh no!
Oh no, what did I do? This okay, Discord freaked out of it. Anyway,
Oh okay. I only said oh no.
yeah, after that Discord freaked out on my end, but it's fine. So yeah, like once again, that's the way I've seen other people save time when they don't have stuff to upload. But that's also like there's also multiple things there. For example, they get paid for this shit. We don't.
Yes.
And also, they do this on a weekly basis. As in, if they don't have something to upload for the next 2 weeks, then they make a best of instead of days. Which gives the editors time. Also, they have like 12 editors. Probably doesn't hurt.
Yes. And they have more of like a dedicated channel focus than it's these 6 guys you've never met or heard of.
Yeah. So like they have more of a reason to do those best ofs than we do.
Yeah. Like honestly, on some level, I think a little bit of it is even like I think like we all have a decent enough comedic repartee or whatever. But I think like if we wanted to ever get a serious audience for this going, it would probably come over from more dedicated, focused content like FGA or what we do on our solo channels, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we tried to do more focused content on this channel. It just never worked out.
Yeah.
Like FGA is the only series of ours that worked out for a more focused thing, and that's nowhere near what the original idea for it was. So
yeah.
Like I think I've said this before. Like I wouldn't mind doing more scripted stuff for this channel if y'all were interested. It's just think of like, okay, what do we script? Good question.
I don't know that. I don't know that's me necessarily.
I mean, you were the first one who brought up scripted stuff, more or less, because you wanted to do machinima, but I don't think we even tried that one because we just didn't have the tools. And then it just kind of fell by the wayside. It's very weird how my memory is shit enough that I don't remember what we say on this podcast. Yet I can be like, hey, remember that you brought this up once when we were talking back in 2018 after we were done playing Siege.
Yeah.
Like, what is my brain anyway? Yeah. By the way,
where is my mind? You could say.
Yeah. By the way, I did check the what's coming out this week is just Spider-Man, FG, and Katamari.
Okay.
So yeah. Then let's see. My week, I guess.
Yeah.
I beat all of Infamous. As you've seen.
Yes.
And I didn't mind it. It's well like I downplay whenever I like something because yeah. You know. But yeah, like I liked it, but it's also a thing of like, well, it's a very like if I had to give it a grading for the entire series, it's a very like a 7 or 8 out of 10 series, if you ask me. Like it's good at what it does, but it doesn't bring a whole lot of new things to the table aside from the gimmick in Second Son, and then or like I guess technically it does handle the morality system pretty good, so that's a plus. But also a lot of it is just like the Ubisoft world design that they use that Ubisoft used to have, and was obviously a
Yeah.
contemporary thing that games had to have. So it's like I knew that, or how should I say this? Like the game was new to me. At the same time, I already knew parts of it well enough that it wasn't really like exciting.
Yeah.
The first game felt like it had the most moral stuff. I was in like the first game felt like the most morality driven to me, or at least the quandaries that they conjured up were more like, okay, so here's the things that you can do, and then just let you take in the context for whether you think the good or the bad would be better. And I think the first game was the best about that because the second game was just, do you find the evil chick hot or do you find the fucking the good chick hot? And then the second game had three quandaries completely in all of it, all of it, all of the game. Three. So
Well,
yeah.
someone can you can correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Infamous 2 end on a very big quandary, bigger than anything Infamous 1 presents?
Oh no, it doesn't. Well, it does. I guess it ends on a big quandary. But what's even more, Infamous 2 ends in a way that you literally cannot follow. It was the end of the series.
Yeah. Like there was once a way I heard it phrased. I I believe this was Yahtzee, Ben Yahtzee Croshaw of Zero Punctuation. And I kind of want to hear what you think about this because it sounds like the opposite of what you're saying. Is that the evil path went from, in Infamous 1, Cole pretty well just nostril fucks the whole city, to Cole's just kind of an ass who's kind of selfish.
No, not to me. Like, not considering what things were brought up as ideas for the evil side in two. I don't think so. No. Like in the first game, it was just like, I'm gonna bring up specific examples. I think that was the first game. Shit, was it the first game? Okay, whatever. I have a better one that's definitely from the first game because that's the one that I remember the most out of the entire series. The first quandary that you get in Infamous 1 is it's a quarantine. People like so much so that people have a limited amount of food and stuff like that, and the government has to drop in food for people.
Yeah.
And you get the crates free, and you get a choice. Do you give the food to the people and let them eat because they are starving, or do you shoot into the sky to make the people run away and then hoard all of the food for you and your buddies? And that's an interesting idea. Like that's a good moral question in my opinion, because there's ways to go either way with this one. The one I remember the most out of two, I guess technically there's the one of the last one, but whatever. That That's one of those things where like that doesn't fall either way. They had to make it so ambiguous, you know. That question. But the one that I remember
I
the
mean,
most, yeah,
I think having your friends be involved in it, I think could make it more of a difficult choice for a lot of players. But I think there's also a fundamental thing of like the player knows his character isn't going to starve, right?
yeah.
So you don't really worry about how Cole is going to eat because you know the game's going to keep going.
Oh, Cole doesn't need to
It,
eat, I don't think, anymore. He's made of
yeah, he
electricity.
probably eats electricity, doesn't he?
Yeah, but yeah, like I usually try to whenever I actually get to make a choices like this, I try to take whatever seems more in character. Like, since Cole was a defined character, more well somewhat defined character, I was like, okay, so what do I think Cole would do in this case? And as I've said in text, like both Cole and Delson seem like assholes to me, or at least in the first game, in Cole's thing, and in Cole's case. So I was like, okay, Cole. I think like since my introduction to him has been his best friend is also unsufferable, and his love interest hates him. I think he'd be simping for his love interest too much to actually consider what people need. So I went with the evil option, and then the love interest chewed him out, and I went, okay. I could see this scene as a turning point of Cole actually considering what his love interest actually feels, you know.
Yeah.
So from that point on, I played him good, and that to me made
Uh,
sense because there was a character arc. It wasn't a long one, but whatever. The To go back to the point that you made, or that you brought up, uh the quandary that I remember in the second game is your good choice is freeing people who are in captivity so that they don't get turned into monsters. Alternatively, you can choose to get control over the monsters and massacre everyone, including the people in captivity. Like,
sheesh.
you know, I don't know. That sounds a bit more assholish to me than like, or I don't know. Like it's to me, it's more immediately cruel, I guess, because in the first game's case, Cole wasn't thinking. Cole wasn't thinking through all of the things that what he's doing is actually like doing. But he's like, yeah, let's go massacre those people because because he points this out that it's a massacre. Like when the idea gets brought up by the person who gives that mission, he's like, that's a massacre. So
Yeah.
if you do that mission, then Cole is going, yes, I know this is a massacre. I want to do this massacre. This sounds cool to me. You know? Like I feel like that's worse than just Cole not actually considering people. But then maybe I guess I could see it in the case of like I didn't do a playthrough yet. I'm considering doing fuck it out. I'm considering doing recorded playthrough for the bad one because I did the good one off recording, so whatever. I might as well get content out of it. It might be fun.
The bad ending for Infamous 2 is really good. There is a very famous emotional beat. Like, there are a lot of games where the bad ending doesn't feel worth it because it's just like your character being like, haha, I'm sinister. And that's it. No, Infamous 2's bad ending deals with, oh, there's a lot of fucking consequences here.
I mean, even the good ending deals with that somewhat. Not as much, but still.
Yeah, but usually you can tell they put a lot more work. Game devs usually put a lot more work into the good ending than the bad ending.
Yeah,
It's
that's
rare
true.
when the bad ending is just as satisfying as the good ending, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, I guess for one to go close out on one. Uh, I liked their little their Boja towers in that game because it felt more like the crypt missions from Brotherhood. or the whatever the followers of the lairs of Romulus. There we go. But yeah, like
Yeah.
the sewer missions felt satisfying to do because it was a dedicated tutorial area for this is the power you're getting now. This is how you use this power. All right, figure it out. Use it in the open world then.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's about it. I didn't like the combat, but we'll get back to that. Infamous 2 is in New Orleans. I mean, not New Orleans. And the I'm surprised that Zeke stuck around. Honestly, like after what happened in 1, I didn't expect Cole to actually trust him enough to let him be around him anymore. Because like it is kind of fucky what was going on. By the way, the fucking twist of 1 sucks ass. I hate it. Like, you've beaten all of these games, right?
I have not, but I've beaten Second Son, and I read the plots to Infamous 1 and 2.
Okay. So can I just go ahead and say spoilers for Infamous going forward?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, spoilers for Infamous going forward. The twist of the main antagonist being just Cole from the future is dumb as shit. I hate it.
I think it's questionable how it's like, so wait, time travel exists in this universe?
Not yet. Like, may I remind you, he came from technically, I guess, an alternate dimension. Well, I don't know. It depends on whether there's split universe theory or whatever that is, where you, and if you alter a thing in time, then that's a different universe. But basically, Cole didn't stop the guy that helps him stop the guy. Didn't stop him. So everyone died. So he goes back in time and kills everyone. Why not? And he does this. He does this to make sure that old him gets better, but then also everyone still dies. Like,
yeah.
like Cole's future Cole's motivation is. I think the reason that I think he sucks is summarized very well in he goes back in time to save the love of his life, who he then proceeds to throw off a building. Like,
isn't it some shit about like he's got to make past Cole be tougher and ready to take on the beast?
kind of, but not really. He's not trying to make himself tougher. He's trying to make him good. And killing the love of his life is somehow what constitutes as making himself good. Like he needs to make sure that the Cole that we're playing as doesn't go down the evil path. Or at least from what I gathered. So I don't know. and then the second game. The second game is just a continuation of this shitty twist. And not only that, but they double down on the shitty twist because not only is the guy that was killing everyone in the first game Cole, but also the guy who helped current Cole stop future Cole is also evil. Why? Well, you see, he died, but he didn't, and that makes him evil, and he now wants to kill everyone who is not fucking an X-Man. But you see, also, he doesn't actually want to kill everyone. It just so happens that whenever he shows up to activate people's powers, he kills everyone who doesn't have powers.
Yeah.
Like the argument for the evil side for me in the second game is kind of bad, just on the basis of, well, if I choose to live, everyone else dies. But if I die, then everyone else lives. And then that doesn't seem like a like you know that seems like a very easy trolley problem. I don't know. Will I save 5 people or will I save like 5 million? Good question. You know. But yeah, like the and going to the gameplay. I didn't really like how to change the mechanics of the powers. Some of them, because Cole's basic shot used to be an arc. It used to be an actual fucking lightning strike that he shoots out of his head, and they made that into an upgrade.
Yeah.
In the second game, his basic shot is a ball, a lightning ball, and like it serves the same purpose. But actually, like I guess the problem really isn't really that they changed the effects, because who cares? It's the same. It's that the combat doesn't feel any more satisfying than the first game did, and the first game's combat felt very weightless in a bad way, or like I don't know how to put it. Like it felt ineffective. The combat did. Like you had your explosive shots, the two of them. You had the grenade and you had the rocket. Those felt like they actually did something because it made people real. But past that, it was just okay. So I shoot this guy in the head with a lightning bolt, and he just kind of shrugs it off while lightning effects play across his body, and he keeps shooting me. Okay, cool. And that's both of these games. Like it was worse in the first game, but at least in the first game, you could use if you had a good enough trigger finger, you can, or I guess bumper finger in those games case.
Yeah.
But if you had a fast enough finger, you were a machine gun, so the amount of damage being minimal didn't really matter because you weren't shooting a projectile at the guy, you were shooting 50.
Yeah.
In the second game, they added different ways to shoot, where you got like a spread shot, you got the arc that you used to have, you had actually that might be it. Like it was the basic one, that one. You got a machine gun shot, and the machine gun shot should tell you they limited how much you can shoot, and in my opinion, that was a bad decision because like to think of like if the weapons deal enough damage, then it makes sense to limit how much you can shoot because they don't want you to be invincible. But the weapons didn't feel like they did enough damage for most characters or most enemies in the game, and that's a problem. Because not only am I not dealing damage, or at least it doesn't feel like I'm dealing damage, but also I can't deal damage sometimes because the game doesn't allow me to. They did change how the combat works because I guess people might have complained between the two games. So the Cole now has a sword pretty much, and aside from that, the combat doesn't really change. They added a combo meter so that if you hit people enough, then you can do a big attack. And that's it.
Yeah.
The enemies in 2, in my opinion, are worse. But then I preferred in Infamous 1 when the enemies were just like, whatever, fucking guys with superpowers sometimes, but still people. And in 2, it's just like big crab monster, slightly smaller crab monster, necromorphs.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I mean, I guess. Like the entire, or at least some of the plot revolves around who makes these monsters and stuff like that. But like, just because they could fit into the story doesn't mean that I have to like it. And I just really don't like. I really don't like that era of video games where they had to include a big monster in every game, or at least one.
Yeah.
And it just felt like it felt out of character for the world, if that makes sense. Like the big bads, or I guess one of the big bads powers in that game is turning into a big crab monster, and I would have been fine with that if I didn't spend the last like 7 hours shooting crab monsters in the face. Like I still would have found it like unimaginative, but at least it was like, okay, that's his superpower, that's fine. But his superpower was that, and also making other people into that, and like we didn't need more of that. The final boss fight was funny though. Well, I guess not the final one, but what you get to fight the final boss twice. In the first one, something fucked up with his padding, or I guess there's a thing in the AI where if two opposing forces converge, that they can pick fights with each other as well, not just you. And
Yeah.
The guy that was the crab master employs these army people pretty much. But the army people didn't know that he was a crab master, which somehow in the game meant that they fought against the crab master, and he attacked them. And this led to the boss just being, I'm following this big gigantic ass crab master through not New Orleans, shooting it from the side whenever you can actually like hit it, because it's not attacking me. No, we're taking a stroll. It's attacking all of the army people that are supposed to make my life harder. But yeah, other than that, like the second game aged better when it comes to like graphics and some of the feel, but I guess I'll go against the grain and say I kind of liked the first one better because in my opinion it had more oomph to it. And the second son had a bad start. As in, like second son could not win.
Yeah.
there was not much. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say real quick, I'm playing through the Mass Effect games again, and a lot of what I'm going through here is they showed a little teaser for Mass Effect 4, and I'm pretty sure in the teaser you can see Garrus and Talia right there, which means it's going to be a direct sequel to Mass Effect 3. You can't have a fucking sequel to Mass Effect 3 because the ending did not leave space for sequels, and Infamous has the exact same fucking problem.
Yeah. And so the big problem with Infamous Second Son is that it shouldn't exist from a narrative standpoint because there was nowhere for them to go. So they rebooted the series, I guess, technically.
Except that they didn't. They just retconned the core element of Infamous 2's ending out of existence.
Yeah.
Like it's just Cole died for no reason. There you go.
And like the bigger problem, I guess, is that like if it were like, okay, so the big bomb just fucking deleted all of the conduits that were around then, but still left the people who were not awakened or whatever. That would have been fine. Infamous 2's ending specifically points out, or the good ending specifically points out, every single person who is a conduit, regardless of whether they were awakened or not, are dead. Like they all just drop dead. So
and
yeah,
the wacky thing is, correct me if I'm wrong here, they do have a post-credits bit that implies that Cole might come back, and then in Infamous Second Son, every conduit except Cole is back. Because correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't Infamous 2 in the good ending end with Cole's casket being sailed out on a boat and then lightning strikes the casket?
Yes.
Right. So Infamous 2's ending is conduits may be gone, but Cole can still be alive. Infamous Second Son, oh yeah, Cole saved the world and he died by getting rid of all the conduits, except the conduits are still here.
Yeah. So yeah, like there could have been decisions made there, but like it's like there was not much they could have done to salvage the situation because they wrote themselves into a corner, and boy. But past that,
Just
yeah, go ahead.
To refresh myself, I'm looking this shit up on the wiki because this thing confounds me.
But yeah, I liked Reggie more as a supporting character to Zeke. Like, sure, he was kind of preachy sometimes, but he was trying to like get his brother not shot. So I can understand him more than Zeke just going like, "Yo, Cole, I need you need you to go and fucking get yourself right so I can turn the TV on and watch porn."
Nah.
Like I don't know. Like,
Isn't a big part of Infamous 2 Zeke's redemption?
and he was still the person who gave me the evil side missions sometimes. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Like he redeems himself somewhat. Like he tries to. It's one of those things where like I can't tell if Zeke is supposed to be a character who is very sleazy and acts like he's trying to do things but can't, or if he's supposed to be a character that's like very malicious. And you know he's fronting to Cole that he's gonna try and help these people, but really he's like trying to further his own goals, you know.
Yeah.
And then, funnily enough, when I laid out the possibility of Zeke being trying to be good but not being able to be, like weirdly enough, they Sucker Punch then nailed that in Ghost of Tsushima, because Kenji, if memory serves, that's his name, the sake merchant guy. Like he goes through a lot of trouble trying to help people, but he's too much of a fucking asshole to actually do that, and everyone hates him for it. Like he legitimately tries to help people in some villages. He tries to help Jin multiple times, but whenever he tries to help, he either doesn't amount to much or ends up screwing the people he was trying to help. So you know I like him because he's you know he has good intent. He may not be a good person, but he has good intent for people, even if he fucks things up. Zeke, on the other hand, felt like he was just trying to. Zeke was trying to be cool constantly, and then best that like it didn't seem like he was trying to do much of anything. Like he only did good things because Cole in the good place too, because Cole wanted him to, more or less, you know, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends. If I play through with on the bad side that he still does charity and stuff like that, then there might be more to what he does. But yeah,
Yeah.
Reggie was an interesting side character because he's like unlike Zeke, he's pretty much never on screen. There's only like 2 missions where he's in the game, 3 if you count the intro. So, and I kind of wish that he was in more of the game, but that's kind of just an issue with the whole series. And I don't know if I've just been conditioned by modern the modern video games industry or whatever. But playing through these games, I was like, okay, this game is building up. It's gonna hit now, and then the credits rolled, and I was like, wait, like I enjoyed the time, but like these games are so short, and you know they're doing the beats well enough that I don't notice that we're going through the entire game, and then the game just ends, and I'm like, and I want more, and they're not even particularly short. I guess they may be. I don't know. It took me a day to finish both. It actually took me a day to finish all of these games. So yeah, they might be short. As I think about it. But yeah, I kind of wish Reggie was more on screen. That's partially because the other supporting cast isn't great. Like you have Hank. He's Hank. He's in 3 missions too. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
he's also only in the intro and then the last couple. You have Eugene. Eugene sucks. We don't talk about him. And then you have remind me of what her name was, because it was like Flash or something like that.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
The neon girl. Whatever. That's her too. She's psychotic or psychopathic rather. When you meet her, but then she turns good if you are good, and then she's probably blamed for you being bad if you play bad. Because if Second Son doesn't have a lot of playing around with the morality system, is just do you get Force Lightning if memory serves.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, oh,
yeah.
oh. Okay, you're talking about Second Son. For a second, I thought you were still talking about Infamous 2. I was about to say, I don't remember any of the names in Infamous 2, but in Infamous, Fetch.
Yeah, Fetch. Her. She's also there. I guess she's the most tolerable out of the two. Not a hard thing to hit, but you know. Like Eugene. I guess the my problem with Eugene is that they had to go and make him a creepy nerd. Like it's bad enough that he's a pop culture nerd. No, he's also creepy. But yeah. The powers are worse. Well, in some ways, not in others. Smoke is better, in my opinion, than the lightning was, just because smoke finally lets you do some of the traversal shit that people used to do in Infamous 2 that you couldn't for some reason.
Heh.
But like, yeah, the smoke is also the closest to lightning, otherwise. So I guess that's probably why I think it's the best. Neon was some like nearly useless. It was the replacement for focus is what they call it when you used to be able to snipe people in the first two games. It was a fine
Yeah.
replacement it was a fine replacement to that. But at the same time, past that, I can't actually point out any like pros to using it. The running felt like the running felt discouraged just because you can't teleport like Fetch does, and when you try running in air, you kind of just fall because you're running in air. So you know, so it is a lot of like zigzagging over the buildings and stuff like the it felt a lot like Saints Row 4, and that's
Yeah.
bad. You don't have to feel like Saints Row 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And then video was video had a couple of good couple of interesting gimmicks, but past that, once again, I didn't see a lot of use for it because being able to glide a lot longer thanks to having wings in video form because you're an angel or whatever, or a devil probably if you're evil, uh, was you know an interesting addition to traversal throughout the open world, and having a stealth mechanic, I guess, in disappearing from people and then backstabbing them and that's giving you more good or bad points. I like that. I didn't like the implementation completely because you still needed to be very far away from people for it to actually trigger, so you could go into hiding. But past that, like it was an interesting thing to have in a game where all of the opposition feels very oppressive. So you know, it was
Yeah.
a good idea, just not the best execution. The couple of I didn't bring this up before, but the way I played these games is I played my characters good, and then sometimes once I maxed out my good meter, I just went, okay, now I can do evil stuff and not have it affect me. So sometimes I would just suck some people out with from suck some people's electricity words away from them, like steal away their life force through electricity with coal, or with dust. It was literally one thing that I did. One of the big story beats that you get is near the end.
I know already what you did because I did the same thing.
Yes.
And here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. Is that Infamous has a binary morality system that goes up and down depending on your choices. It's not just a situation of make good points and make bad points like Mass Effect. It's by making good points, you are losing bad points and vice versa.
Yeah.
Which meant that doing that kind of fucked me up near the end of Infamous. And on top of that, out of the two endings you get, there is a choice that is a perfectly reasonable choice that is nonetheless marked as the evil path, and you can't choose it unless you went fully down the evil path.
I don't remember the evil choice near the end.
Do you just trap
Oh,
her
right.
or do you kill her?
Yeah.
And it is perfectly reasonable to kill her.
Yeah, but for me, for my characterization of Dustin, I was like, okay, the bloodlust has been satiated, the revenge has been had. We don't need to kill
Oh,
everyone. Just the person who has the most blood on their hands. That's fine.
oh,
Bless you.
excuse me. I mean, that guy was a dick, but like Augustine, I think I just looked up info about her, so apparently her name was Augustine. I didn't
Yeah,
remember that. Augustine is killing your entire tribe, who are all innocent.
that is true. But the reason I killed Hank is because he had to learn that his actions have consequences. It wasn't even the revenge. It's just that his backstory that he gave in the on the start of the game is throughout my life. All I've learned is that my actions don't have consequences. Whenever they jail me up, I just be out in 20 minutes. And he had to learn that choices have weight. I had to give him the fucking the infamous code of fucking responsibility or whatever. Like I had to let him know which
Yeah.
series he's in. Cause like I consider letting him go because his daughter is right there and shit like that. But like fuck, dude. Like think about what you're doing.
Whew.
Like that would have been a good moral quandary to have in the game. If once again, if Hank's whole character wasn't I'm an asshole and I get away with everything, because that's the thing that made me kill him.
Yeah.
But past that, I always chose the good options, and I was completely satisfied with only getting the fucking the second tier good ending or whatever I might have gotten because I was like, hey, Hank is dead. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that they would do like a twist after like like either during the credits or something like that, in the prologue or something, where Reggie's alive, and then just have it weigh on your psyche whether or not you let fucking what's his face live. Because I think that like that's one of those things where I was waiting for it and I was like I was sad that they didn't do it. It's the very obvious thing to go for, but I kind of wish they did it because is it coping out of losing Reggie? Yes. Also, it means that your one choice, like your one choice that is very controversial, would have actual weight. Because if you kill that guy for being an asshole, and you thought that Reggie died around that time, you're justified in killing him, in some ways. But then if Reggie lives, and you find out later that Reggie lives, then it's like, oh fuck, I could have let him go, and it would have been fine.
Like, what would be really great is like it's like Delson is horribly choking Hank to death with a chain. And it's like, oh, gee, like you're watching the life disappear from Hank's eyes. Hank is trying to speak, but he can't because he's just hacking up blood. Finally, Hank slowly dies, and it's almost like a mercy. And then Delson turns around, and Hank's just standing behind you, his mouth agape.
You mean Reggie? But yeah,
You're like,
Hank does the
this is
Barney.
my real power, boy.
Yeah, Hank does the Barney.
Bitch, you thought.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been good too. I would have been fine with that. But like have it be a thing where like that once again, I think it would have hit the most if you get the choice with Hank. Whatever happens in those scenes happens anyway. And then once you're done with Augustine and Nelson is back with the tribe and all that, Reggie just shows up. Regardless of what you chose, Reggie just shows up. And then if you killed Hank, Dustin just has this very like scared look in his face, like fuck, what did I do?
Yeah. One thing I will go ahead and say real quickly. Infamous Second Son is almost one of the few games where I'd say the bad ending is more preferable to the good ending because I don't remember what happens in the good ending.
Uh, the good ending is Dustin goes home and treats everyone of the cement, and uh And the X-Men learn to live with the humans once again.
Okay, so the bad ending is after killing the fuck out of Augustine with her own powers, I think strangling her to death with a boulder or something. He then goes to the prison where all the other conduits are being held and lets them out, but he makes it where each of them has to shake his hand before they leave. And then he goes back to the reservation, right?
Yeah.
And the tribal elder chick, like, he goes up and he's like, all right, hey guys, I'm here to cure all of you. And the tribal elder chick says, fuck off. You are the fucking worst. We saw the shit you were getting up to in Seattle. We would rather die with honor. And she slams the door on him. And Delson just looks at the camera, at first with a bit of anger, but then he cracks an evil smile. And he does the fucking smoke power screen clear where he jumps up into the sky. And it cuts away before impact, but he does the smoke power screen clear onto their longhouse with all the fucking sick people in it.
Oh no.
Like,
and that's the moment Dustin learned that we live in a society.
like, that one is just a fucking brutal bad end of, okay, first, Delson now has every superpower you can imagine. Second, Delson wiped out his own tribe out of pure spite because they rejected him.
Yeah.
Like, that is almost like if there was an Infamous 4, I almost feel like it would have to be Cole comes back and has to fight evil Delson.
Yeah, man, I wish that Sucker Punch did stuff still. Like, I know that they're working on Two Ghost Tsushima, and like I'm looking forward to that too. But like I want them to do stuff with all of their IPs again, because shit, like, most of them are good.
Yeah. They only have 3, but they're all good.
Yeah. But yeah, so what was I going to say about? Oh yeah, wait, I got the point again, and then I lost it immediately. How does that happen? Oh yeah, the weird thing to me, or I don't know how, like, Cole felt like a character that was written to have bad tendencies, but be good overall. Dustin felt like the opposite.
He's kind of a yeah, Cole's kind of like he comes off almost like a lazy stoner. It's like, I don't want to save the day. I want to sit here and eat munchies and fucking smoke a blunt.
Yeah. And then Dustin felt like the evil writing would fit him more, even as I was playing the good one. But also
Yeah.
it's like I guess the best I can put it is Cole felt like a good guy doing evil things sometimes. Dustin felt like an evil guy doing good things, especially a lot when I was playing him. But still, like it felt like he didn't really want to be good. But he also, like, a part of why he's not good is because he wants to be accepted.
Yeah.
So
He wants to please Reggie. At the same time, he's very angry at the world, and it shows.
Yeah. He wants to please Reggie, but he also wants to go to the hot topic.
Yeah.
Which, like, you know what? I'm making a joke about him. I liked his threads more than I did Cole's, but then that's because Dustin actually had some semblance of style over just shirt, bag, pants. You know, like Cole just like looked like Mr. Clean with the bag, kind of.
I liked his jacket in the first one, but yeah, the shirt in Infamous 2 was a downgrade.
I forgot about the jacket completely.
How do you feel about the stylistic choice of Delson picking up a chain and apparently keeping it on his person for the rest of the game?
I liked it. It was very Kratos of him. No, like it fits his aesthetic, the chain. Like, you know, he's trying to be punk. Chains are usually associated with that sort of stuff, so whatever, that works. Like Dustin is very like Cole is a very like very mid 2000s angry white guy who listens to five point death fist or whatever the fuck. 5-finger death punch. Whatever.
5-punch death fist.
Yeah. I mean, is that too like weird for a name for that to be their name? Like, isn't that very close to what their real name is?
It sounds like a move from Hokuto, like from Fist of the North Star.
Yeah. But yeah, like he's a very mid 2000s fucking like very angry disturbed five finger death punch protagonist. And then Delson is a very millennial. I don't want to. I don't know. I don't like society. I guess I don't know what I could really like bring up as very like millennial characteristics, or things that are associated with either millennials or people pandering to millennials. Because it's like I don't like the cops. I don't like society. I like art, which Delsin. All of those are Delsin. Yes. I like murder. That's also Delsin. So
I love sucking the life directly out of people's veins.
No, he can't do that. I wish he could.
Oh, what's the evil equivalent of finishing someone off in Second Son then?
Oh wait, it might be that. I don't remember. I guess I'll have to check.
There's something funny about Infamous 1 and Prototype 1 coming out around the same time. And immediately just amusing because open world superhero games that aren't licensed. But, Infamous 1, it's like, oh man, only the most evil Cole would drain people of their life force. Then meanwhile, Prototype, old Alex Mercer dines on whole streets full of civilians.
Yeah, but it's fine because he's always been evil. Is that the second game?
That's something that pisses a lot of people off. There are a lot of people who are like, no, Alex Mercer is my perfect waifu. He good hero man. And it mystifies me every time. It's like, did you fucking play Prototype 1?
While I was playing Infamous, I also was like, man, I really need to check out Prototype now, and I don't think it's on PS Plus, which is a shame. Which is a shame.
Prototype is the ultimate super dickery game.
So I might not like it, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying you have to do it, but if you get a kick out of abusing civilians, there's a lot of stupid shit you can do in Prototype. And ordinarily, I don't get a kick out of abusing civilians in free roam games. But there is something hilarious about picking up a taxi and then running forward faster than a car through the streets of New York, using the taxi as a battering ram, causing all the cars and civilians to go flying.
You see that those sorts of stuff like GTA and stuff like that. When I tried doing that, it's like, okay, I guess it's good for like a minute, and then past that, like what's in the game. Like that's why I didn't get into Just Cause, because that's all of the game is.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I enjoy doing that sort of stuff for the camera when we're doing recordings, because usually when we play, whenever in the 2 times that we played open world games, it was just like, okay, let's fuck around in the open world, and then maybe we'll do a mission or two if we can. But like best that we'll just fuck around. So in those sorts of things, like I will shoot the civilians and whatever, because that's content, that's funny. But like past that, I don't really get any enjoyment myself out of just like shooting rockets at civilians, because who cares? They're just people.
Boy, Just Cause, there's definitely no fun in fighting anyone, whether they're fighting back or not, because that game shooting in that game feels like ass. The fun in Just Cause is, can I dive out of a plane, parachute onto a train, and stick jets onto the side of the train to make the train take flight, and then explode?
Yeah, but then at the same time, like once again, like how much longevity is there to that? Like how many times can you do that before you go, I'm bored. I don't want to do Fast and the Furious 9 anymore. Also, I like how I can never pronounce Furious, but whatever. Anyway, yeah.
Furious.
Yeah.
The fastest and the furriest.
Yeah. Considering how many car firsts there are, that could be a movie. Anyway, let's continue. So yeah, what were you going to say about Just Cause?
I didn't really have anything else.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I'll close out on Second Son. So yeah, not nearly as bad as people say. Like soon was like Second Son is a travesty and whatever. Like no, they had it got dealt a bad hand. It's not anything like exemplary by any means, but you know it's a very fine 7 out of 10 open world video game, which is pretty much what I came to expect out of the series. You know,
Yeah.
like you know it's a thing of like if I paid $60 for this game, I would probably not be as content with it as I am. But you know, but
Yeah, I
also
think that comes into it.
like
It also comes.
yeah
It also comes into it that a lot of people really played the game just when the PS4 first came out because it was one of the launch titles,
yeah.
and the PS4 did not have a great launch lineup at all. And it being disappointing came into that, I think.
Yeah, although I don't know if I'd call it disappointing. Like more of the same, definitely. But disappointing, like I don't know. It only like once again, the story is disappointing. Sure, what were they going to do? Like there's only a couple of steps they could have taken to make it better, and like one of those is reboot the entire series. Like
Yeah.
past that I can't really think of anything that they could have done to make Infamous 3 technically work better. Like they I think the only other uh like choice of action that would have landed better is remake the first 2 games for PS4. That's it. But then like if they did that, it's like okay, so why do I need to buy the same game again? Like why are you still telling me the same story? You know, people would have
Yeah.
wished about that too.
Oh my god, Infamous Second Son is 8 years old now.
Yeah, yeah, it's very old.
Jesus Christ.
Also, I guess one last thing that I'll bring up about it is I liked Second Son's gathering of the shards better because it didn't remind me of Nintendo 64 collectathons. And
Yeah.
instead it was just like okay, so do these things and you will be rewarded with progression. It wasn't just for some reason there's a shard in this building, or rather there's a shard on this building. In fact, there's 4. Okay, why? What made this happen? Like they show it happening in the second game at least. They show the thing blowing up. In the first game, I can understand because there was the big explosion that Cole triggered. Whatever. I can explain away with headcanon of that explosion put the shards everywhere. Whatever. Second game, they show the shards exploding out of an explosion that you make. But that's not how like they didn't show anything being in the proximity that would generate the shards. Definitely not as many shards as there are in the game, and not of the size that they are in the game. And the animation that plays is also very slow, so you can somewhat follow it, which an explosion is not, you know.
Yeah.
So it's this thing of like I get what they were going for. They tried. I can't claim that they didn't try. It just didn't really work for me. And in second son, instead, instead you get it as a reward for doing stuff. You free up this district. Okay, you get 4 shots as a reward. Why are there shots here? Fuck you. But then you also get shots for shooting down the drones and whatever. And you could at least explain those away that was the drones are powered by the shards because they were introduced as a form of like power storage or whatever in 2. So that at least makes sense in universe. So yeah, then the last game is that I've played this week is Sly Cooper for the first time,
Yes. Yes.
and I have not gotten very far in it because I had to restart my game once because I decided like I said that if they add it to the to PS Plus, I would record it. I made the decision not to because I didn't feel like I had an episode this week and fucking didn't feel like speaking. Really, is my alibi. I didn't really feel like trying to be funny when I'm like I don't want to be here right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what was I going to say? Yeah, so I beat the first world of recording, and then I went, hey, I could make a review out of this. So I then went back and restarted the game. This time writing notes and recording the footage.
Yeah.
And so far I'm not that much further. I'm like 2 levels into the second world. And there's so many nice things that they did with this game. Like it's very weird how the 3D platformers that I skipped, that I for whatever reason didn't have access to, or somehow the ones that I end up liking. Like I didn't like Mario 64. I didn't like Banjo Kazooie or Banjo Tooie. I didn't like Donkey Kong 64. Which other one did I try? I tried a couple. The big ones on Nintendo 64. I tried. I might have even tried. I definitely played Bob's in 3D, but that wasn't because I was legitimately interested in playing it. That was for a video.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I played any PS1 ones before this back then, but yeah, and somehow the 3D platformers that I ended up liking are Spyro, which was on PS1. Well, actually, was it only PS2? Spyro might have been.
There was a bunch on PS1. I think there weren't so many on PS2 that were beloved.
Okay, so yeah, that was a PS1 series. So yeah, I played Spyro. That's a PS1 series. I'm playing Sly. That's a PS2 series. Ratchet and Clank similarly is a PS2 series, although I still haven't played the first game because they refused to add it to PS Plus. The first couple. Well, I guess technically I played the first one because of the remake, but I don't know. I don't think that counts. you know. So yeah. Anyway, uh, yeah, so somehow these are the ones that I end up liking because I guess they're not as focused on making you collect everything, or at least when they do, it's more uh, it's more hidden behind doing something else. You're not collecting these things because
Yeah.
you need to collect them. You're collecting these things so you can, I don't know, open a door, which is, like you still collected the things to open a door in the N64 games, but now it has more dressing. I guess is the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
And then I also really like how Sly implemented the stealth mechanic. Like one of the things that I'm already writing somewhat for review is I am making a spoof codec call because I really like the codec calls. I don't know if you can do a good Bentley. I may need one of you to do a good Bentley, or at least a mediocre one. Like because I probably can't do a slide doing Solid Snake. I can't do either of them separately, but both at the same time, not likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, like I like the style segments. I like how there's I like how they did the style because the way they implemented it, it makes sense for the target audience of children. Of you can fuck up at stealth, you'll just die. Like if you stick around for too long once you fucked up stealth, you'll just die. And like that's fair to me. Like that retains that the game is a stealth game while also giving more of a leeway because children, you know.
Yeah.
And what was I going to say? Like what else? I liked how getting all of the collectibles on level gives you different moves. I didn't expect that. I expected it to be like in Banjo Tooie, where it's like, okay, so you did all of this shit, you now have more money. Okay, cool. I don't really have much to use the money on, but hey. Or
I
like,
did not know that you could even get extra moves in Sly Cooper 1, so what you're telling me is I need to go back and try it again.
oh, did you only get the ones that are story related? Is that, or did you not collect all of the battles on levels and stuff like that?
No.
Okay, yeah. If you collect all of the battles on level, you get more moves. Not for all of the levels, but still. Like I've gotten all of the battles on 3 levels, and I got two additional moves and a map. I don't know what the map does yet, but hey.
okay. I think I've mentioned this before, but it's so incredible anytime there's like a major mechanic to a game that you just weren't aware of and you hear it from somebody else. It's like, oh, that entirely changes the game.
Yeah, I mean the moves don't seem all that good. They're just kind of just fun moves to do if you feel like it. Like it's the one of the ones I got, that was the first one I got was basically a lunge is the best way I can put it. Like it's supposed to be an attack where Sly jumps forward and then does a roll, more or less. And then
Yeah.
the second one is a spin dash. Kind of. Not really, but still. Sly forms into a ball and you can roll around. Not at the speed of sound, because that's not his power that's not in his power set. But still, he can roll into a ball and roll around, which is very funny. It's not useful at all, but it's funny. Bless you.
Maybe useful in some situation.
Yeah, I could see it being useful in some situations, but it seems very very situational. Weirdly enough.
Yeah.
And then I haven't been able to collect all of the bottles on the other levels because I'm trying to just complete the game for getting footage now, and then maybe go back and get all of the stuff. Cause like I thought about going to all of the Sly games. That was when I wanted to stream playing through them for the first time. I wanted to play through them pretty much just continuously, because that's how I usually tackle series. But with this one, with how I'm doing this now, it might be better if I do play through the story to this, record that, go back and get a couple more moves, maybe record those for additional footage if any of them are particularly funny or whatever, and then once the review is done, move on to either Sly 2 or the next game that I'm gonna be reviewing, which I don't know what it is. Like it's a thing of like, I want to do something that's not Sly, so I release videos that are not Sly. I am also going to be doing the Sly games very close by because I want to beat these games. Like I like these now.
Yeah.
But yeah. And that's pretty much all I can really say about Sly, because I'm not that far along. They did put out a new plush. If I knew how much it costed, I'd consider buying it, because it's a nice plush.
Huh.
I wish that since it's the 20th anniversary, I wish they did more than just release the trilogy for the PS3, because you always wish for more and better. But like, I'm happy with this too, because it means that I get to play the games at all, which is better than not at all. At the same time, I kind of wish that they'd take these series, even if they don't really have much to do with them anymore, and at least like remake them on Unreal Engine 5, put them on the PS5. Like, maybe not everyone will buy them, but I figure there are enough people nostalgic for Sly and I need to call it Last of Us. Shit. And Infamous. I feel like there's enough people nostalgic for both of those to have them turn a profit.
Yeah.
Like, the only big problem there is that it takes away time from Ghost of Tsushima, and it like it's one of those things where, like, I love Ghost of Tsushima. I also love these games. I want more of these too. I don't know how they could make it happen, but I want all of them. Now, like, it's one of those things where I wouldn't mind putting Ghost of Tsushima on hold for now. Partially because then they'd have time to work on these stuff, and then once they're done with this stuff, then they can use that expertise with Unreal 5 or whatever they would be using, and the PS5's quirks and stuff like that, to then make Ghost of Tsushima that much better. But I know Sony doesn't think like that. Sony's like, Ghost of Tsushima sold well, so we need a sequel stat like as soon as possible.
Yeah. More money now.
Yeah. Especially with the guy, with the current head of Sony going like, or rather the current current head of, I think he's technically Sony Computer Entertainment, but just PlayStation, more or less, being like, Who cares about the old games? Buy the new one. Buy Last of Us for the 5th time. That's a new game, right? Last of Us for the 5th time? That's a new game. Buy that.
I almost feel like part of the point of Last of Us Remake is to try and retroactively change the appearances of Last of Us 1 to look more in line with Last of Us 2, right?
Maybe.
Because Last of Us 2 was like, hey, Joel's super fucking old, and he's always been super fucking old. And don't get me wrong, Joel's age is a weird thing in Last of Us 1, where it's like, he looks 30 20 years ago. Why does he still look 30?
Yeah.
But it definitely feels like it was trying more so to make gray-haired, ancient Joel of Last of Us 2 be a bit less jarring, you know?
Yeah. And like with that game, I saw someone post like, if like the remake added a lot of accessibility options, and that's fine. Like, that's very nice that they did that. There could have been a patch for the remaster. Like you could have just not paid $70 for stuff that could have been easily included in the last version of the game for free. Because like because the thing that like that like accessibility options seem like a very no-brainer move to me. Like it seems like something that should be in a game already. Well, or at least if it's released currently. And Last of Us was obviously not released currently because it came out in like 2013. But there's the remaster that runs on modern day hardware still because it still runs on the PS5. You can just patch that one. You own the console. You own the distribution service. You don't even have to pay yourself money to release the patch. You know. Uh like people, money astounds me. I don't understand how money works. That's what life's taught me. But yeah. Anyway. So yeah, I really like Sly.
I'm sorry to go completely silent. It's just my nose turned into a fucking geyser. Give me a second.
Oh yeah, mine did that too. That's why I was cussing on the whole lot of all back. It's just that when mine like when my nose does that, it doesn't start actually like. There's not much I can do. I just sound like I have a really stuffy nose because I do, and I can't do nothing about it. Because whatever I try, it doesn't work. It's great. So yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, I really liked Slide 2 or Slide 2. I really liked Slide 1. I don't know about Slide 2 yet. I will probably like it if it's like 1. But yeah, I like the I really like the old cartoon aesthetic that they have going on with the cards before the mission or before the episodes, I guess is the best way I can put it. And the like one of the things that I like about Sucker Punch is
sorry about that.
It's fine. But yeah, so one of the things that I really like about Sucker Punch's presentation in general is how they can utilize they can utilize art in the game's story, and it doesn't feel like they're skimping on money, which like they probably are. Art, like just having moving art, somewhat moving art, like semi animated art, convey your story, probably saves them a lot of money. But it's also a stylistic choice, and they go all out with it with the stylistic choice. Like Sly is animated. Sly's stuff is done like a cartoon would, because Sly is a thing aimed at children, so obviously it would be more like a cartoon. Infamous has a comic aesthetic, and that makes sense for the setting and also like the world in general, like the superheroes. So obviously comics. Ghost of Tsushima has the old traditional like painting style, the Japanese painting style, and it also works because it calls upon the influences that they had, and also just looks nice. So, like, I don't know what it is with Sucker Punch, but they really like they I really like their stuff. So I await their next game that will be isometric sucker souls set during the medieval ages.
Okay.
And it, I mean, I'm just making a joke about how, and every time I'm like, I really like this thing. The thing just changes completely, or the people's output changes completely.
Yeah, it's like, hmm. I've said it before. You need to weaponize this somehow.
I mean, okay, I'm gonna tell you something very scary. I may I may have reached the conclusion that I liked Bloodborne. That means
Oh
that
no!
that means that if it is true, Souls is in danger. Like FromSoft is gonna make like a fucking anime booby game or something now.
Oh god! Elden Ring 2 has decided that they're going to add. What would just be like. Elden Ring 2 is now a walking simulator.
Yeah.
FromSoft has decided that they would be better as a publisher rather than a developer. As a result, Elden Ring 2 has been licensed out to the CyberConnect team.
No, I don't even mind CyberConnect. No, if you want me to be angry about something like that, it would be they have decided to license out Elden Ring 2 to CD Projekt Red.
Yeah. And CD Projekt
Oh no,
just looks at it.
not even CD Projekt Red. Ubisoft. Because you see, CD Projekt Red could at least make a world that doesn't completely suck. But if you're
Well,
if yeah, go ahead.
So Elden Ring kind of already has the Borgia Tower system.
I know we joked. Or I made a joke about when we were talking about it when it came out that it would get up and attack you.
Now, to be fair, it's not really the Borgia Tower system because it is honestly like, look, here's you just find the map. Okay, you know the map for this area. You don't have to fight anyone to get it. It's just like it's there. Okay, but Elden Ring 2, oh no.
I mean, it's not even about the design decisions like that. It's that Elden Ring 2 will be a lot harder. It will be focused on stats. Will have fucking like loot aspects like Neo. It will have microtransactions so that you can buy yourself a better sword and a better gear. And the best swords and the best gear will of course be locked behind paying Ubisoft Premium in their shop. Fucking the combat feels like the combat feels like they ripped themselves up, which they would have, because whatever. But yeah, like the combat feels like it's entirely decided by the stats instead of whatever you're actually putting in. Like, you know, imagine the third person equivalent to Morrowind. Where instead of the models clipping, it's a dice roll that decides whether or not you actually attacked.
Morrowind did have third person.
I know, but imagine if you weren't crazy if you played Morrowind in third person, you know.
To be honest with Morrowind, it doesn't really fucking matter. You don't need to aim. The aim stat is rolling dice.
Oh, there's an aim stat. I forgot.
Well, it's not an aim stat. Your ability to aim your sword is dependent on your strength.
Okay, that's what I'm referencing. Imagine if they imagine if they added that to Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Because like that's the sort of stuff that I expect out of Ubisoft if they get the Elden Ring license, you know.
Oh.
Or like I don't even know who would be worse, because like, you know, Take-Two would be very shitty with the money aspect. Like, you know, they would monetize the shit out of it. But like past that, it would be mediocre. CD Projekt Red, they'd put more booba, and the world would be slightly worse, and the combat would be a lot worse. But that's pretty much it. Like Ubisoft is the worst like developer that they could give it to that I can think of. Oh no! Oh no! David Cage.
Oh,
We've licensed
oh.
that Elden Ring to Quantic Dream. Oh boy.
Okay. Okay. So what you're suggesting is bring together the dev team that said prepare to die and the dev team that said death is a failure of the game designer.
Yes.
Like somehow I would imagine that's a story that just ends with the news story you see of fucking FromSoft headquarters explodes. In the final moments, someone recorded footage. You could see Miyazaki and Cage strangling each other in Miyazaki's offices.
Yeah. I'm assuming like with those like code words or whatever, those slogans. The slogan for Elden Ring 2 is prepare for the failure of the game designer, which is apt.
Prepare for the. I'd like to. I'd like to. Okay, so you know how THQ Nordic releases all those shitty gimmick names for their remasters, like Reforged, Refueled, Remarsed,
Yeah.
shit like that. I'd like for it to be like someone to do that actually for like one of those historically bad games. Bubsy 3D, prepare for failure of the game designer edition.
Yeah. Fucking bad rats. When plumbers don't wear ties getting ported to PS5. It really needs to.
That has a distinct chance of happening, considering that there's one team that already put Night Trap on PS5.
Boy, if plumbers don't wear ties, gets put on PS5 or both systems, because I don't think it would be too demanding for the PS4. You know, I'd buy it.
My God.
Even if just to say, hey, I own this shitty game, and then play it on recording like once, and then never again, I'd buy it.
Get a 3-game collection of that, Night Trap, and The Town with No Name.
Yeah. No, Night Trap is too good for those two.
That's true.
No, like that's The Town with No Name, and let's see. I could shout out a game that you probably don't know. It's an old DOS like story game called something like Ninja Granny, and it's a game. It's an edutainment game where you press on words and animations play sometimes, but not always. Sometimes it brings you up a Wikipedia article. It's probably very out of date by now, but you know. Like, package that in, because like I've seen 2 videos on that game, and both of the times the people trying to understand what's going on left scarred, because the game is like there's an actual book. Like the game is a book that you read, and some of the words are highlighted so you can press on them and it gives you more context and stuff like that, you know. And no one has been able to actually read that book. I am convinced.
Yeah. Not even the people who built it.
Yeah. I mean, considering the parts that I did read felt like they were written by like 5 different people. Probably, yes. Like I think it was a collaboration where they were like, okay, I'm gonna write pages 2, 7, and 8, or no, 2, 7, and 12. You get pages 1, 5, and 6, and then he gets pages 8, 12, or 13, and 17, and then they just fucking divvied up the process like this.
Oh.
Or like, okay, actually, even better, the fucking the museum of anything goes. That game is, well, no, that's not a game. That's an experience. There is no game there. It's just like late 90s DOS, and that's it.
All right, Eddie, did you do anything else this week?
No.
Okay. For my week, I put a lot of time into Mass Effect 1. I'll hit it real quick because it's not really a conversational thing. Mass Effect 1, game came out in 2007. I am playing the Legendary Edition. Big balance changes, makes it feel a lot more like a proper shoot bang and a lot less like Bullet Sponge Simulator. That's very nice.
Yeah, that
They
is
made
very
some
nice.
changes to the vehicle.
Yeah.
They made some change. Well, it's the funny thing of Mass Effect 1 when it released was supposed to be a BioWare style RPG. RPGs, generally speaking, bullet sponges. Each Mass Effect after that steadily got rid of more and more RPG mechanics to the point that Mass Effect 3 effectively wasn't an RPG. It was just a third-person shooter.
It was a TPS with a sex button. From what I understand.
God, the thing that bugs me is that I had the same perception of Mass Effect before I actually played the games. And it's not that, but I can't blame you because when most people talk about Mass Effect, they just talk about you can bang an alien. But I want to lead into that because one thing that just cracked me up for just sheer 2007-ness, I'm pretty sure this was 2007, let me look it up just to be safe, is so there was the rather infamous snafu about, of course, sexuality in Mass Effect 1. And Fox News saying it was a game about sex where you have sex and you sex, right?
Yeah.
And of course, that was all blatantly false. But, okay, yes, Mass Effect 1 was 2007. But the parts that they skipped over, all they talked about was the fact that you had a romance tree that ended with the characters having sex off screen, but still. But they skipped over the fact that the game, and this was Fox News in 2007, so keep that in mind. How they possibly skipped over this, I don't know. Is that if you're playing as a chick, you can romance Liara, who granted is an alien, but is also very clearly an alien chick in 2007.
No, you see, when it's two women, it's hot, so it doesn't count.
Well, no. This is one of those things out of your. This is Fox we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
This is influencing the little kiddies to think gayness is okay. So that's not like the stance that would be taken. I'm sure modern Fox would 100% double down on that and then follow it up with, but I'm just posing questions. But I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm not saying that, I agree that it's hot for two chicks to get it on, while rubbing themselves with gravy. I'm just saying, have you ever thought about it?
All of what you're saying right now reminds me of this video I saw of this preacher guy, or like TV preacher guy, or at least wannabe TV preacher guy, who was like, Starbucks puts human semen in their coffee because some people like it.
But either which way, I actually decided, fuck it, I'm going to go down the Liara romance path in this game. I always play with a female shepherd because I hate the male shepherd voice actor. Controversial take, I know, but it is just the most dead, boring delivery, and I can't take it.
So
female shepherd has.
So you want Bang okay?
No, we won't. No, I won't. But it's still my favorite shop on the Citadel, though. But Jennifer Hale is great. Love her. One of my favorite voice actors. So I'm absolutely not going to turn her down ever. So I go with Liara this time. I didn't romance anyone in Mass Effect 1 the first time. Going with Liara this time in current year, 2022, is hilarious. Because once Liara is like, oh, this is happening. One of the dialogue choices you can have in response to Liara saying that she thinks you might be into her is, what? No, you're a woman. That doesn't work. And it's like, this game was made in 2007, I know. But the game is set in about 2180. And it's like this absurd idea that, 170 years from now, people will still be confused by homosexuality and not believe that it exists until directly confronted with it. What?
No, it's not the homosexuality. She's just being racist. Or you're actually technically, I guess you're being racist. You only like the male version of the species she is.
Liara is from an all-female species.
That works better.
With that said, Mass Effect 2 introduces a party member that is 100% built to be a male version of what Liara is. By the way, funny thing I want to mention real quick for Mass Effect. Mass Effect 1 and 2, you can only have, there are only gay romance options for the chicks.
Of course, once again, it doesn't count.
But it's like extra goofy because Dragon Age 1 came out a year before Mass Effect 1 did. And Dragon Age 1 totally lets you bang dudes as a dude.
No, you see.
Granted.
Yeah?
Granted, Dragon Age 1's writer was a gay dude, so there's probably a bit of, like, personal thing there. But it's just so goofy, like, Dragon Age 1. Oh, yeah, fuck the elf dude. Sweet elf gay sex. And then Mass Effect 1 is like, what? A man and a man? Inconceivable.
Now you see the problem with the difference here is that homosexuality was not invented in the medieval ages, so it makes it fine. I'm trying to come up with the worst arguments I can make.
I want to say this real quick, just because it's absurd, and I'll probably never get an opportunity to talk about Dragon Age 2 again, at least in this regard. But Dragon Age 2, never played it, but there's one thing I've always found hilarious, which is that every single romanceable party member in Dragon Age 2 is bisexual. Because they just couldn't be bothered to actually set up actual sexualities for any of them, so they're just all bi.
I don't know why. But I thought you were
Wait, all the party members in Skyrim were bi too. So Bethesda being lazy isn't a shock, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I thought you were going to say that all of the romance options in Dragon Age 2 or dwarves. Like it's not that they have dwarfism; they're fantasy dwarves, all of them.
See, that's actually Dragon Age 1 and 2 didn't allow you to romance any dwarfs unless you were a dwarf in Dragon Age 1. It wasn't until Inquisition they finally allowed non-dwarfs to romance a dwarf character.
But it's more fun the other way around. Just ask Pat.
Yeah. Well, come to think of it, in Dragon Age 1, you can still be a dwarf and romance humans and elves. It's just that you can't have it the other way around. You can't be a human or elf and romance any dwarves.
Shit.
Boy, dwarfs, I guarantee you, power bottoms. Hard power bottoms.
Maybe.
Does the beard get in the way?
I mean, I guess it depends. It depends. The guy dwarves probably are. They have a way of mining.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of those things that I'm bringing was.
I just remembered in Dragon Age. Just remembered in Dragon Age 1, if you play a dwarf, you can knock up another female dwarf and then be an irresponsible, non-present dad.
Ah, Sasuke.
Dragon Age 1 lets you do some wacky bullshit, man.
Yeah. You know, so some of the shit I'm saying right now, I'm just like, it's probably kind of racist. But at the same time, like, fantasy dwarves don't exist, and I'm not saying this about people with dwarfism, so...
Well, it always becomes, like, the question of, like, when people say weird, suspect shit about fantasy races, and then you're like, well, wait. And it's like... I'm sure you browse the Two Best Friends subreddit, so you've probably been aware of this, but Wooly's been going through Mass Effect 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, the blackface problem recently, yes.
I don't know about blackface, but Wooly fucking hates the Batarian.
Ah. So that's why blackface was brought up. I know, all I get was that there's something about race. Also, blackface is being brought up a lot recently, for some reason.
Blackface is always brought up with them. Come on.
That's true.
But, like, Mass Effect has a race of dudes, of alien dudes who are spacefaring and yet still love slavery. And every other race that's spacefaring in Mass Effect has moved on past that stuff and considers slavery horrible. And Wooly, I haven't seen Wooly's playthroughs of Mass Effect, so I need to go through those once I'm done with my own. But apparently Wooly took it real hard, and Wooly's just like, you know what? Fuck all Batarians. Everyone except... Like, Wooly is almost, like, to my understanding, entering Waka levels of Batarian lives don't matter, brother.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm just saying, brother. 4 eyes, no soul, huh?
Boy.
All I'm
Yeah,
saying, brother, is there's a lot of space out in the terminus systems, brother, and they ain't making use of it, brother.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say it ain't making use of. Just
There's
turn
a
into Jar
thin
Jar.
line between the ultimate racist Waka and corruptor of the universe, Jabba. Jabba? No, Jar Jar.
Yeah. I
Jar
guess.
Jar.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jar Jar is fucking Neville Chamberlain. Jar Jar let the Nazis take control. It's not that Jar Jar is a Nazi, but he let the Nazis happen.
Yeah.
Like
What I was going to say is that I guess in my case it's not that bad because I'm just like, they mind, which fantasy wars do. Like they tend to, you know.
yeah.
Like
There's a lot of fantasy universes where the dwarfs would be insulted if you said they didn't mind.
yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. All right.
So yeah.
The dynamics of those setups can always be some of the most interesting things in fantasy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like yeah, go ahead.
When you look at, if you compare Tolkien to Dragon Age to Warhammer, all three of them portray dwarfs very differently in a lot of ways. And of course, Tolkien was the original, so they take a lot of inspiration from, but they differ in important ways, you know?
Yeah, there's also some Tolkienisms in other fantasy where that makes people just fall into the same same cast of people or whatever. Because like usually, in fantasy games or whatever, elves are there. Beastmen don't tend to be. So I just go with the elves, which is fine because you see, I'm also better than the normies. Uh, like, I could be yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, elves might be the biggest example of being different in every setting, honestly.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm not. There's some people out there that get freakily obsessed with, I hate elves, they all need to die. And you get almost like kind of the feeling of like they're projecting their feelings about feminine, like less than super hyper masculine men onto elves, right?
Yeah.
And granted, and Tolkien wrote the elves to be a bit perfect, so that can be annoying. Warhammer elves and Elder Scrolls elves are both horrendous racists, so I guess I can understand blaming both of them. But then you get settings like Dragon Age, where it's like, oh, the elves are a historically oppressed people that humanity has a long history of enslaving. And it's like, oh, this is not at all like the others.
Yeah, or like fucking, if memory serves, in The Witcher, they're pretty much just fucking gypsies.
Yeah.
with both the bad and the good. They're merry and all that. Also, they're kind of assholeish sometimes.
I just assume that all of the species in Witcher that aren't monsters are more or less just there to present different waifus for Geralt.
No, because they're scared. Like he could have gotten together with Squayatel, but we can't have Geralt fucking a man, even though he's like sterile.
Well, what, are you worried he's gonna get a man pregnant?
Yeah. that's the Witcher 4. Yeah, that's the Witcher 4 is coming. The Witcher 4 story is, oh no, I made Squayatel mpreg.
I say that, meanwhile in Mass Effect, it's like, yeah, chicks can get other chicks pregnant. To get back to Mass Effect just real quick, the only thing I've got left to say about that is they made some changes to the vehicle sections. Mass Effect 1 is considered one of the classic examples of a game that is mostly good but has some bad fucking vehicle sections. They made some changes to the vehicle to make it a lot more fun to drive. I like that. In fact, one thing that particularly amuses me is that enemies, the small enemies, when you run them over, they just die.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they tend to go flying off into the sun while pinwheeling, which is hilarious every time. But there are a couple big monster enemies that when you run into them, it doesn't kill them, but it does ragdoll them.
So you get free shots in.
Yes, But you can also just horribly bully these enemies that are supposed to be boss enemies or mini bosses. And it has become my favorite thing in this game. It looks kind of fucked up, honestly, when I'm doing it, but it's just hilarious. One of the most common mini bosses is these big Geth mech tanks that walk around on four legs. And if you run straight into them with the vehicle, they fall over, and you can not only drive on top of them, but because your thing was also built to be a planet rover, a space rover, it has jets on the underside, so you can jump.
Oh.
So and I swear to God, it does look kind of sexual, and I don't mean that. But it is too hilarious that I'm just rolling over on top of this mech and repeatedly fucking, like, sumo dropping it.
I thought you were cow tipping it with the car.
Well, you are definitely cow tipping it. That's how it starts. But it's almost like you drive a lowrider onto another car and you just keep pumping the suspensions. And it's a very slow method of doing it, but I find it hilarious every time, especially because your party members have to be sitting in the car with you. And it's just like, oh, here Shepard goes again. He's just playing Monster Truck now.
Do they
could have used the gun and got this done with a lot sooner.
Do the party members have like random lines that they say while you're traveling? Like in Persona?
Not in Mass Effect 1.
Oh. Because that would have been funny if they had like generic lines for when you kill someone in like the travel zone like that, and then you were just fucking like beating the shit out of the thing, and then they just like go woo or something.
Yeah. Well, I always remember in Persona 5, one of the dynamic lines you can get when you've got Haru in the party is there's a random chance, I think it has to be specifically her and An in the party at the same time, there's a random chance Haru will just comment in saying, don't you guys just really love when the shadows scream in pain as we kill them? And Anne just quietly, disturbedly goes, no? And Haru just goes, oh, alright. And I just, like, I say this every time. I love that Haru, other than that, is by far the most boring party member in that game.
Yeah.
But then every now and then, she says something like, man, if we get a hold of that, Prime Minister guy, I'm just going to chop him up into little pieces. I'm going to, hang him from my ceiling. Anyways, so, see any new TV lately?
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, I'm going to drive. And everyone screams. Everyone.
That's one of those things I always love. Persona 3, 4, and 5 are all really good for that. Mass Effect 2 and 3 are good for that. That actually does lead into my primary point about Mass Effect 1, which is Mass Effect 2 and 3 are known for beloved party members that have a lot to say and they have opinions on things. And there's a lot of replay value just from what if I played through this mission again, but instead of playing through with Garrus and Tali in the party, I played with Jack and Edie or whatever.
Yeah.
And Mass Effect 1 party members are not very vocal. They have very few dialogues on the hub, on the ship. When you go to talk to them, there's very few things they'll have to say. And all of them except Rex are pretty bland. Which is weird because Garrus and Tali in Mass Effect 2 and 3 are the most beloved characters in the whole series. But Mass Effect 1, Garrus is just like, I love police brutality and it upsets me that I am not allowed to practice it. And Tali is just like, do you want to hear about Quarian culture? Like, Mass Effect 1, I think the biggest issue is it's setting up the setting. But in order to do that, like, all the characters are just stereotypes of their race, right? So you get used to what these races are like before the stereotypes get broken.
Well, I like to imagine that you walk up to Tali and she goes, do you want to hear about Quarian culture? And then you go, no. And she goes on anyway. You're stuck in the dialogue box.
Well, to be fair, Mass Effect 1 offers you still a lot of variety for just doing stupid shit and saying stupid shit to the guys. There's a bug in the Legendary Edition where once you complete Garrus's quest, he will never stop saying the last dialogue stretch, which is, Shepard, I wanted to thank you for bringing me along on this journey. And because
Oh
I
no,
keep forgetting that and going up to talk to Garrus anyway, so every time I go up to talk to Garrus, he's like, Shepard, I really want to thank you for going on this journey. And I instinctively go for the just walk away button, right?
Yeah.
So Shepard's response to that is, I don't have time for this. And
yeah, go ahead.
Garrus just lets out the most sad, disappointed, oh, okay.
Nice. Yeah, I hate those bugs. It's a thing in Assassin's Creed Origins. If you have the DLC, I think the Hidden Ones DLC, then to let you know that you installed the DLC, Bayek gets a line that is, "We'll see whenever, no please," because he gets like an anonymous letter that someone's threatening Siva. And if you have the DLC installed and you play the game, anytime you're near Siva or boot the game up, Bayek says the line. And it's just this thing of I'm starting up the game, completely fresh. Starting the game. The Bayek story is just starting. Bayek goes, "Will Siva never know peace?" And every time you're near Siva from that point on, Bayek will say, "Will Siva never know peace?" Alternatively, every time you have to take a break because the game is like 5 times as long as it should be, when you boot up, no matter where you are, if you're on the sea, well, whatever fucking sea there is in the game, there's not much. But yeah, like if you're traveling on water,
if you're on the Nile wrestling with a crocodile,
yeah, or if you're in the great sand ocean, which is an actual part of the game if memory serves, yeah, if you're in like the desert or whatever, if you're in the desert getting a heat stroke, Bayek will not care about seeing the battle play out. No, he'll just go, "The Siva never know peace." It's like it's one of those things where, like, in your case, it's funny because you can respond. There is no way to respond to this one. It's just the dialogue plays no matter what you do, and they did not fix this. Bless you.
Oh, excuse me.
Because like in cases like with Mass Effect, it's not ideal, but at least it's funny. It can be humorous somewhat, you know, when it's playing continuously.
Yeah.
But like
but sometimes it does preempt actually like good, interesting dialogue. Red Dead 2, since they stopped giving a shit about supporting the single player and just switched to updating the multiplayer, now they don't even support that. I believe there's still a bug in the game that's been around for a year now that they've just not got around to fixing, where the party members, well, I say party members, it's not an RPG, but the folks around camp now, for whatever reason, do not recognize weather effects properly. Oh. And no matter what clothes you're wearing and where you are, they will say, "Ain't you cold?" Or, "Arthur, you need to put on a coat. You're going to freeze to death." And it replaces all the dynamic dialogue they would say just walking up to you, just walking around with that. Even if you're in the fucking swamps of Louisiana and, you know, Miss Grimshaw's walking up to you with a beard of mosquitoes, sweat sweltering down her face, wearing barely a t-shirt and a skirt, she'd be like, "Arthur, ain't you cold wearing nothing?"
So that's what happened with my dialogue. That's why I don't know half of the things that people say.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're walking around in a winter coat in Louisiana, you know, they got to warn you about how cold it's going to get.
Yeah.
Yet another reason there should have been a button to slap the taste out of Micah's mouth. Or just ask Charles to come over and chokeslam him again, just for good measure. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine there's Red Dead Redemption 3, and it just starts with Charles hammering Micah through the wagon.
Not even Micah's lifeless body.
Yeah. Charles went up the mountain after the marshals did.
The opening shot of Red Dead 3 is Charles hammering Micah onto the marshals.
Red Dead 3, the alternate timeline. Charles fixes everything.
Yeah.
Like, he goes back in time. We need to rob this ferry. No, you don't. Charles, why do you look so much older? You just don't need to do it. Okay. Anyways, to get back to it, Mass Effect 1, yes, Rex is the only cool party member because he's the only one that's like, oh, you know, the Krogan, we like fighting, and I like fighting too, but we're suicidal. We're going suicidal, and we're spiraling into destruction, and I'm very disappointed in my people and all that. And Rex just has a lot of very cool, interesting dimensions to him. The rest of the squad is like, hello, I'm Ashley, I am racist.
You know the impression you did of the guy and the things that you said sounded very very much like the Klingon guy from Star Trek.
That's because the Krogans are almost certainly Klingons. I'm not an expert on Star Trek, but I'm pretty certain they are.
I mean, it is all about honor. And do they have like
No.
these? Okay, then no, not specifically Klingons, because Klingons are all about like fighting and honor, and they're like the one of the big things is that I remember. One of the big scenes is the guy whose name is escaping me, but he used to be one of the mainstays on the Enterprise. He had a blue barrel fall onto him, and he nearly
the barrel.
Yeah, he nearly died.
I've seen that scene.
He nearly died, and he's like
the blatantly empty barrel.
Yes, and he's like, this barrel has dishonored me. I need to die. How could I let this empty barrel attack me and wound me? I have to die now. I have to be killed by the captain.
There is a bit in Parks and Rec where one of the characters goes up to Ron Swanson and asks Ron Swanson about how he'll handle, like, you know, what's his who will inherit his property.
Yeah.
And Ron says, got it set out. He pulls out his wallet. Now of his wallet, he pulls this little piece of paper and he shows it. And it's just got this little, like, scribbled symbol on it that you can't tell what the hell it is. And of course, the other guy goes, what the hell does that mean? And Ron just simply says, whoever kills me will know. They get it all.
Ah, nice. Yeah, my knowledge of Star Trek is very very funny because I used to watch Next Generation for Data. I think it was Next Generation. I forget. Whatever. I used to watch one of them with Data, for Data, and specifically for Data. So all I remember is Data, and then,
yeah.
And then he wasn't utilized in too many episodes, so I stopped watching because I don't actually care about Star Trek. I just like Data. So like most of my Star Trek knowledge is Osmosis and Jonathan Frakes being on Unsolved Mysteries. I really like Jonathan Frakes on Unsolved Mysteries.
He's a bit of a meme machine, isn't he?
Yeah.
But there's a video I need to send you later of someone editing Jonathan Frakes from the Unsolved Mysteries into that quest from Fallout New Vegas where the king sends you to figure out whether that bodyguard is lying or fake, like lying or real.
I thought you were talking about the supercut of him saying that it's false.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't seen the one you're talking about, so yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, let me look it up. Fallout New Vegas. I'll just look up Fallout New Vegas, Jonathan Frakes, and see what it gives me. Only good stuff, I bet.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I probably am because I don't remember. I don't have a fucking the face memory. But isn't Jonathan Frakes also the guy in the Harkness test? Like, wasn't his character on Star Trek just that he wanted to fuck everything?
I'm not an expert, but I think I've heard that. Yeah.
Like, from what I heard about people who like Star Trek talk about it, if memory serves, Riker is the one who wants to fuck everything. So, but then I don't know.
I'll have to send it to you later, as I can't find it at
right.
the current moment.
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, Mass Effect.
Yes.
Are you playing Mass Effect like you are Riker then?
No. There's really, outside of the romanceable party members, there's really only one instance in the entire series of just random sexual encounter. There you go. And actually, that does remind me, I want to say before I wrap it up, just real quick, how funny it is. Because I forgot that the way you trigger it is just by having what you do a quest for an Asari chick, and she's like, okay, here's this necklace I found. I don't know what it does, but it seems important. And your dialogue options are thanks or is that it? And if you choose is that it, then she's like, oh, all right. And then she goes up and hugs you, and then just hard cut to you having like her naked arm in bed, implying obvious stuff. And it's like, oh, that whole goofy dialogue tree thing of dialogue that clearly does not actually imply what it means, right?
Yeah.
Because there's glass him, meaning hit a guy in the head with a glass. That's one thing. It's another thing entirely to be, this is not enough of a reward equals sex.
No, what?
Like, it'd be another thing entirely if your choice was, this isn't much of a reward, and she says, she offers, and then you can choose yes or no. But it's another thing entirely for it to just immediately jump into, all right, well, straight to bed.
Yeah, I don't know. That feels like is this in the first game? Labio?
Yes, it is in Mass Effect 1, yes.
Okay, then yeah, that's running over the time.
As a matter of fact, it's one of the earliest missions. Yeah, it's one of the earliest missions in that game too.
Because
the GTA was still a new development, and M for Money was still a new development.
So yeah, in the context of this game out in 2007, is that it is very obvious. Just are you really not going to suck my dick?
Oh boy.
Well, what do you mean? I saved you. I did one good deed to you. What do you mean? That doesn't mean that I get to have sex. I don't understand people. So anyway,
people are very entitled.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's about what I've got to say on Mass Effect 1, and that is my week.
All right. Then I guess we can call it a podcast.
Yes. Addy, say bye.
I wanted to wait until we get to the next whole minute, but that would be half a minute still, so I don't know.